Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about overlays. So this is something that you probably have seen in many websites. There's some kind of image and there's some text that's overlaid on top of it with a semi-transparent background. And this is a very nice way of, putting some text over images and also making it more readable. So if you don't have that semi-transparent background, that is very important. You see the text becomes not so readable, so it's important to be able to add this semi-transparent background. So how do we do this? So there's actually two ways of doing this. The one that we're looking at it is the background technique. So in this case, we have a background image, as you can see over here. And on top of it, we have a linear gradient. Now, in this case, the linear gradient has the same color beginning to end. So it's uniform across the entire thing. You can obviously change that to, I don't know, black or whatever. You can do different transitions over here. So the rest of the styles is really straightforward. The flex positioning and the centering is used to center the text over here in the center. And the margin is used to center the entire block. And so we have a specific size. So that's what you need to do when you're using the background technique. And finally, we have the color white. There's also one thing to mention here, like if you don't want to use, sometimes you want to just have a single background layer. You can also make this linear gradient available in the border images. So that's a nice technique as well to make sure that the background stays as is. And the border image comes between the background layer and the foreground layer. So it can be a nice addition there. So let's see how we would do that. In this case, I'm just going to go from black to maybe transparent to quickly show how it works. We set the slice to 1 and show center. And yeah, there you go. So we can actually change the order. So yeah, this is another slight variation in the background version of overlay. All right. So how do we do the foreground version? So a lot of the times you want to have an image element and you want to keep the foreground image element. How do we do the overlay in that case? So let's add an image element over here. And I'm going to select the same image. And I'm going to center it over here. All right, so how do I add it over to add some text and the overlay? So in order to do that, there's actually two ways of doing that. One of them is absolute positioning. The other one is grids. So let's start with the absolute positioning. I'm going to start by wrapping it in a block. And when we look at the element tree over here, we now have a block around it. And I need to add a overlay block that comes after the image. So it can come before the image, and you can use the index, but it just makes it a little bit easier if it comes after. So I'm just going to be adding another block over here, and I'm going to call this overlay. And I'm going to add a heading and a paragraph over here. So yeah, so now we actually, if you look at the elements tree, we have an overlay block, heading, and element, but they're not overlaid. So right, so we actually have the overlay within the same block, but they're not getting overlaid. So in order to do that, we're going to be doing the position that I mentioned. So we're going to set the parent position relative, and the child overlay position has to be absolute, and it needs to be top left, and the size has to be 100% so that it's going to cover the entire thing. All right, so now it is overlaid, but we need to center the text. So let's center it using the flex layout. And yeah, there you go. It's showing now, but it's hard to read. So let's try making it white. And yeah, so but it's still not very readable. So the advantage of the foreground technique is that you can put whatever you want into the overlay. And all you have to do for the background is add a little background color over here. So let's say this is going to be black and maybe about this much. Yeah, so this is not so difficult either. So this is a very nice technique, and it can enhance the user experience. I would definitely encourage you to experiment with it. There's also another slight variation on this, like sometimes you hover over it and there's like this zoom effect that's coming out. that's accomplished with hover cards in Web Digital, that it makes it much easier. You can see it over here. But that's for another video, and definitely subscribe to our channel and check out the other videos. Thank you very much for watching.